Hello,
Welcome.
everyone. Welcome to our last episode of season one of Shush Let's Talk Anonymous. My name, obviously, we're best friends by now, Fabies. You should know my name, but it's right there, Fabi.
And Sylvie, season 1, episode 10. Yay!
We survived. We survived.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, we did.
And so I hope by the time you're watching this, I think Christmas should be over for you guys and you probably gearing up into the new year. So, um, let us know what was your holiday? Did you do anything? I mean, it's a quarantine or isolated holiday? Did you have family over, or did you really? It was just another day. What did you do? Let us know in the comments what that season was like for you. For me, I just had family over, but like really limited number, like just my
I like the way
parents.
she said that. Limited
No,
number.
I'm saying like it was just between my parents and my sister and my niece. That's it. So that's who we had over our house. And because I think I've mentioned that before, I'm Seventh Day Adventist. So it was on Friday night, right? So it wasn't nothing spectacular, but we did have dinner or whatever the case might be. But it's something that we do on a week to week. So it wasn't like, oh, Christmas. We didn't know. It was just more or less on eating together as a family. And I enjoyed having them over at my house. Yeah, it's really good. And just to put the disclaimer out there, we are very cautious.
I love the
We're
way she
very
did that.
cautious. No, it's true
Disclaimer.
because because I go over to my parents and that's the only place that I visit outside of like grocery shop, I do make sure that my husband and I are always fully prepared because they're older, right? So I don't want to be the one bringing anything to them, vice versa. So we always make sure that we do deep cleaning and do all those things that we look forward to. So let me know how you guys did spend your holiday. What did you do? What did you do, Sylvie?
Oh, good question. I'm glad you asked me. You know, I was being a Grinch in my own little ways.
Yeah, you did tell us that, yes.
I sure did. Last episode, number 9. I sure did. I told you, listen, Sylvie's going to be the little Grinch, my own little way. Don't pay me no mind. But for me, that day was just a relaxing day, just enjoying life, enjoying my time down, my downtime.
Mhm.
Good food, watching some Netflix movies, series, TV shows, whichever, and just really be grateful for the fact that I had a roof over my head. I had some good food in my belly, in addition to snack, ice cream, whatever you want to say, call it. And I was comfy on my bed. That was great for me. I didn't need any
That's
more. I was good.
amazing though. But that's what it's about, right? It's like you making it best for you. Because like your typical quiet day may look different from everybody, right? So being that you are able to enjoy just you and just me time, that's awesome to go into. So for our finale questions. So I'm so big on, I don't know if I mentioned that. I'm big on vision boards. And Sylvie, I don't know if you are or not
You big on what?
on vision boards. Like
Yes, I've heard that so far. My friends were telling me about vision board.
I'm
What's that?
so big on vision board. And guys, we'll have something cooking for you guys. I don't want to reveal it yet, but yes. So um it said, did you learn? Okay, so here's the first question before we jump into our 8, 9, 10. If you guys been following, we're ending our relationship series in season one. So you guys can go back to the first episode by getting to know us. Each of them are titled so you know what we spoke about. So do let us know so it doesn't seem like you're hitting in the ending. So yeah, so it said, did you learn any new skill set this year? So any kind of talents or skills this year?
For me, honestly, I think a talent, not even a talent, I think a skill is patience. I'm still working on it. Honestly, to me, it's a skill to have. And not a lot of people have patience. That patience is is everything. I mean, people may not see that as a skill. They may see it as something where people gain over the years with experiences, right? And, knowledge. But a skill is really, I mean, it's a skill. Patience. I think it must be
That's
because this last
big.
episode, so I'm going crazy here. I'm so excited. So I don't even know what I'm saying, how I'm saying my words. But anyhow, Favies, I know you understand me by now. You know I'm a little. But anyway, yes, patience. For me, that will be the skill. Patience. How to be patient. Let me teach you how to be patient. Well, not me, because I don't know. I'm still working on it. So, But patience is something for me. It's a skill. Definitely.
Um, well, if we're talking about like activity wise, I think in the midst of the whole pandemic stuff, I just woke up one day and I was like, Andrew, I need a sewing machine. And he was like, what? And I'm like, I am going to buy my own materials. I am going to make my own mask. I am going to go to YouTube University and to learn how to make my own mask. And I did, Sylvie. I mean, I don't know the last time I've been on the sewing machine in the past couple of months, but around April, no, I think more or less May, June, July, I was making masks actually up until maybe August.
Where's mine? Where's
Ugh.
mine?
I can say
Hello.
so. I still have my sewing machine. So you know what? I'll be able to. I'll make some for you. And yeah, I purchased my materials and I've made some masks, like kind of like really easy ones to make with different patterns. And I found that it was very therapeutic for me, believe it or not. Um, I do want to challenge myself and be more useful because it wasn't expensive, but it was like almost $200, and that's a lot for a sewing machine, right? For me, I know it's probably like very like generic for a person that like a seamstress.
Mhm.
They probably want like top of the line, but it has a lot of bells and whistles. So I don't even know what it means. Like I literally had to watch step-by-step tutorials on how to put the thread, how to thread it properly. The first week I broke like 3 needles. I know. So it's a work in progress. If I could go through a whole like 10, 15 mask making without breaking a needle, I was so happy and proud of that. Um, See, I told you my like I know it's gonna be doing that, and it would do that for our last episode, right?
Of
Literally.
course,
Um,
everything.
just to let us know. Yeah, and then there's other things that I think I picked up in terms of skills, but that was the biggest one for me is just randomly saying I want to start sewing. And eventually, I don't know, I'll probably start making skirts and scarves or whatever, just to see where it goes. But I'm not gonna go into saying now I'm start making wedding dresses. See, I'm just okay, it's clear. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm not gonna go in the breakdowns of saying I'm gonna start making dresses and stuff, but I think little things here and there would be nice because I do have a sewing machine here now. So
Well, I'm rooting for you because I can't wait for my first mask. I'm
okay,
waiting because definitely when you said sewing machine, I used to know how to knit. Knit, is that? Yeah,
really?
knit, yes.
Yes,
And I lost my touch. I remember that was a friend of my mom that taught me, an elderly person. And she was like, come here, when you're young and they want to show you things. And she showed me how to knit. And I used to knit. And I'm like, oh, yes, and it's very soothing and relaxing. It really helps you, clear your mind from other things. So it is great to have this little hobby that you could take on and actually something comes out of it, right? Again, with a
mhm,
whole lot of patience, because when you have to
yes.
make things, it takes a whole lot of patience. So definitely, um, you know, I used to knit, so I lost my hand. I'm sure if somebody was to show me again, I'll be able to get right back in it. But that used to be my thing way back when. Like now, whew, the patience to see the final product, I can't bear it. It's too much for me.
I, it's funny you said that because I learned how to crochet a while back, maybe around 2013, 2014. And I would make my own scarf, and that was therapeutic for me too, like scarves, I think I mostly love making scarves because it was just easier to follow the pattern.
Mm.
Um, I've made hats, like little, you know, hats, whatever the case might be, toques and stuff. So yeah, I think those are really good, and it's something eventually. I guess with electronics and social media, you kind of steer away from that. But I do enjoy those little projects and stuff. It makes it fun. But to go into our topic of today, I wanted to end with this question.
Go ahead.
Um, it
Tan, tan,
says,
tan.
we talked about the five love languages last episode. So it
Mhm.
says, when do you need assurance of love the most, and how can you show that love?
Okay, pause right there because you know me. I want to make sure that our favies have time to hear the question and really think about it. Can we go on a quick break though? Cuz
Of
just to go on a
course,
quick break and then let them think about that and then we could tackle this right when we come back.
not a problem.
We got you.
We can definitely do that.
Yay!
I'm like, I don't know how long she wanted this break to be.
No, quick little break. Quick little break. I want to make sure our favies, heard the question. Let's think about it and let's come back together. And now we could tackle the question together.
So what do
So,
you think?
um, can I be honest? Did I tell you I already forgot the question?
Well, why not? You know what? I'm not even surprised. I'm not.
Ooh, forgive me, please forgive me.
When do you need assurance of your love? And how can you show that love?
Hmm. I think that I don't want to speak for myself. I'm gonna speak in general. Maybe I'm gonna incorporate a
You
little bit of
you
myself.
have to speak on your own though, because if there's a particular day, time,
Uh-huh.
season that you need this kind of love, how could you then show that love before you get it? Or like it does, like it's almost saying like, I need physical touch.
Mm-hmm.
So would I feel balanced when I receive that physical, or could me giving that physical touch balance me out?
Well, for me, all right. So answering from my perspective, for me, it depends because from past experiences, I've done things both ways. So I've done things first in a way in which I was moving way too fast, way too quick, way too soon. And it's like everything was out there, right? I think it links a little bit back to what we were talking about as far as, you are always yourself, but then how much do you let out of yourself to that person, right? Some of us are pretty much more reserved where we don't show everything or we don't show all of who we are right there and then. And for me, as far as that love is concerned, I feel kind of uncomfortable in my skin if I weren't to just be me. I don't want to have those I mean, we all motivated by things, right? But my thing is that I want to be able to just be me and show you the love that I have for you when I get to that point without having a time frame, right? Or whatever appreciation that I have for you, that I'm able to show you that without putting a specific time frame on that. I feel again, for me, is really the vibe, the energy that you're giving me. So with that said, I I don't feel as though you need to put a time on that. So I've moved that way. And then there's other times in other past relationship where it's taking me so long, where it's like, oh, okay, well, you doing this, that person's doing that, etc., etc., and I'm still like, okay, I'm not convinced. Yeah, okay, X, Y, and Z. So it goes both ways, and that's why I keep going back. And our favies gotta know Sylvie by now. It's to me, it's like the energy. Like I have like this thing about energy, energy, vibe, vibe. That is so much so that I feel that everything is linked to it, right? I'm the type of person that will think that sometimes the universe is speaking to me. That's just me, right? So, with an individual, whoever it is that I'm getting to know, whether it's for a friendship, whether it's for a relationship, whether it's professional, is the energy. You could get that Sylvie where everything comes out, or you could get the other Sylvie where it's like, yeah, okay, I guess we're gonna wait another 2 months. Oh no, another 5 months. Yeah, another year.
Yeah.
So that's it.
When I saw that question, I was like, it's funny because a lot of times we talked about the needs, right? So, and I was like, as a little recap of the things, the few steps, I was like, that's actually a perfect question because I'm not looking, there's no exact answer. And like Sylvie just mentioned, it's a case by case scenario, right? So it's different for you to actually say, but to be mindful of the fact that it's a give and take. A lot of times we only focus on the giving or the taking, and we're not giving what we're expecting, right? Because it's like, it's my feelings and you have to impress me. You have to make me want to be with you. You have to, it's the you. And then it's like,
So
they got feelings too.
exactly.
And they want to be felt, they want to feel like, oh, this person is different from the rest. And not just saying, well, I know I'm different than you. No, it's not that level of confidence, but for them to really realize that this person is different. I'm not used to being loved or
Mm,
saying, have a great day. I'm used to always telling a person, have a great day. Things like that. So that's why when I saw it, I'm like, I like that. I like this
great
question.
question. I agree.
So jumping right into our list, we stopped last time on number 7, which talked about children, right? And we talked about it's good to have that conversation right off the bat so you know what that person 4 or 5 year plan looks like and to see if having kids in a family looks into it, right? Because ideally, if you say, hey, what does marriage look like to you? They're probably like, oh, I'm not ready for that. I want to date for a year or two first, then get engaged, and then married within 5 years. And then 5 years after that, I see myself possibly having kids. So now here you are, you're locked down practically for 10 years now because you're thinking, well, I don't want to date and be married by 5 years and then wait because we want to enjoy each other first. Then it's like, then that's that clash right then and there, right? So a few of our faves actually commented on our last episodes, our last 2 episodes, and it was amazing to read and look at the similarities. And I think it was episode 8 or 7 that we talked about the question or the homework question was, would you be with someone if like the intimacy was in there, right? So we see you, we always respond to your comments, so I appreciate that. Keep that coming. If you have any questions, if you have preference on what to come for season 2, let us know because we are planning some great things for you guys. So moving on to number 8, it talks about each other's family. And I think throughout the whole series, we actually pinpoint on little things about families, right? They say the partner may have different vision on how you, the person that they're dating, interact with their families or the involvement, right? So that's something that you could want to discuss, right? It's important as a couple for you guys to have that level of boundaries on what they want, right? So it'll help you understand what that person, especially at the beginning, you get, if the person always talk about their family, or are they always talking about their friends, or is it always work? You kind of see what that looks like. And sometimes they may be the ones to be like, well, I want you to kind of know my family. They're toxic. I don't want you around them. So that kind of makes me, I don't know, Sylvia, could you do somebody like that where they didn't have a, not that they didn't have a good relationship with their family, but they feel like their family is toxic and they wouldn't want you around that environment?
I don't know how I would navigate something like that in a relationship. I think that is very touchy feeling, kind of. Um, I mean, it's your family, right? That's who you grew up with, or, in some instances, not all of us are fortunate to grow up with their family members, each and every single one of them. However, it's still your family now as an adult that you want to introduce me to. And for me, it's like, I don't know. If you're telling me your family is toxic, it's like we're gonna have to talk about this, because obviously you would want to know the person's family, or at least one member that you may not necessarily deal with every single member of your family, but at least one that you deal with, that you have to have at least one person in your family, whether it's uncle, auntie, grandma, I don't know, your cousin, right? If you and mom don't have that relationship, or you and dad don't have that relationship, but maybe sister of dad, maybe brother of mom, right? Somebody that at least you could hold dear to your heart, and you could say, well, listen, babe, my family is toxic, but you know what? Here go my auntie. I love her to death, X, Y, and Z. So to me, you meeting her is all you need right now. We good, right? Because some instances it will be that way, and then some other instances you'll meet the whole family all the way down to the fourth cousins, because everybody is together, like together, they together. So
And
you got to
you
meet
know,
everybody.
and I think that's one thing for me, because the last one you described, that's me. Like,
Yeah,
you're meeting everybody, the third, second, fifth cousin from the grandma's, you meeting everybody, right?
you
Even
meeting
like,
me, the
oh,
crazy cousin too. Yeah, over here.
so like,
Yeah,
how many cousins do you have? How many aunties do you have? Like, at some point, it's like, listen, if they've been friends with my mom and my dad for a long time, sometimes even before I was born, they automatically my auntie. Okay, so so it's like you think about trying to explain which siblings is your dad's sibling, your mom's sibling. It's neither. It's just the auntie, the friendship that became auntie and cousins. That's what it is, right?
period.
So outside of those extra families, you have the actual family that's quite big, right? So to me, I think I mentioned that earlier on, is that I'm very family oriented. So, in terms of similarity, and like you mentioned, Sylvie, some of the growth that you saw into this season one, for me, it was how much of a similarity Andrew and I had that I didn't think about when we were dating, or what attracted me to him, because I always felt like I wanted. Can't stay. Where's our bell? Where's our bell?
Bell, yes. Favies, you have to remind us the bell.
Season two cannot start without our bell, okay? So it reminded me how many things, like how much things I appreciated more about him, in the similarities of how family oriented he is, the same with me, because it kind of matched my vibe, right? So I know we said, do we look out for differences or similarities at first? And I realized that it was a lot of similarities for me, because that was like, oh, okay, you always talked about this, you always talked about that. So, like I said, mention, like, let us know. Um, like I just asked Sylvie, would you be okay with a person who says, hey, I don't want to bring you around my family because they're toxic? And like, a conversation really needs to have, but I think for me personally, after that conversation, I would be able to, it needs to happen soon, because I don't want to just get to know you as a person by itself. It takes a village, and I want our future kids and generations, whatever, to feel like they have that support of village. Like I said, I remember I mentioned that early on. I want grandparents at games, basketball, soccer, whatever. I want that from both sides of the family. I wouldn't want, because I know what support system I'm coming with. So I wouldn't want you to feel overwhelmed by how supportive my family is versus you don't have that. It could mean that they'll welcome you in, but I don't want it to feel like it's one sided. and that you didn't give your family the chance to be there because you just know how childish, petty, whatever, they're toxic.
Mhm.
So I think for me, it would probably be like it wouldn't work out for me because I want that. I want the relationship all around. I'm not saying we need to be on the phone 2, 3, 4, 7 to have all your cousins or people calling me, not like that. But at least the support system is there, so the kids know both side of their family and it's not one-sided.
Correct.
Um, so let us know, guys. Have you dated anyone who had a toxic family and that you actually ended the relationship because of family? Because that's something that you don't talk about often, but you'll be so surprised how common it is that people are like, if that's what I'm gonna marry into, it's not worth it.
No.
So let me know. Let us know in the comments. Have you ended a
Mhm.
relationship because of the family? And you're just like, I some traits are there. I see these red flags. Even if I went to Timbuktu with this person, we would not have peace. It's not worth it. So, what was the reason and what made you end the relationship? Let us know in the comments. Alone time. That's number 9. I think we mentioned that a little bit on could have been number 4 or 5. No, 4, I think it was. Relationship. Um, the needs. We talked about having your alone time, that you're not also always dependent on that person, right? So it says society lead us to believe that when you are with someone, you are supposed to be with them all the time. This is far from the truth as it can be. So this was a psychotherapist actually who quoted that over an email. And she said, like, and it's so true because sometimes you feel like, well, we're supposed to do everything together because I'm alone. Like if I wanted to be single and do everything by myself, then I don't need to be dating. But that's not true though.
That's true.
Like I think we talked about the spending time apart, like the love languages, right? Like if the person's watching football all day, but that's more or less as a married, because you're living together somewhere, or if you're a common law, whatever. So you kind of have that moment to yourself
Mhm.
where if the person's on their game system, right? Or if the person's watching football, whatever their hobby is, you're able to do something at that time to make sure that there's no clash. But I think it's very important, and I think you get to find yourself. I mean, pick up sewing. I don't know. Like you find something that makes you happy, whether it's read, right? So it says when you're constantly with this person, you're actually, and it's funny because when I read that, I was like, that is so true. You're developing an unhealthy dependency on them.
Okay, I
And I
can
was
see
like,
that.
right? It's Are you saying don't be with them? Because for me, I was like, well, I'm not depending on this person. Like, I'm myself, like it's almost like a slap in the face. But when you truly think about it, you're like,
Yes, you
okay,
are.
you are.
Yes.
And then this is what makes a lot of breakups harder because it's the fact that, what am I gonna do without you? And like, I can't live without you. And I will just, and you realize how much your daily lives routines depended around that person. So you honestly left your happiness in the hand of a person, which there are times, and we're not gonna get too deep into it because that's a different
Mhm.
situation. There are guys or couples, it doesn't matter, partners that actually robs you from that independency because they want you to be dependent on them. This is not what I'm talking about. Sometimes we give this person this freedom to hold this you being dependable or you being dependent on them. It makes they don't even know because this is what you're doing. You're expecting your world to revolve around them. But it's not that they're forcing it out of you. They're not saying we have to do this, 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 this. You're almost saying, I want to do this, this, this with you. I don't want to do it by myself. I don't know. Like,
There's a
I know
difference
it
between
feels
the
like
two.
we're in circles, but I don't know if I'm projecting it correctly, if you see what I'm saying.
Well, the thing is that there is that aspect that you just mentioned where, you know, I want to do everything with you. And there's the other aspect where your partner wants you to be solely dependent on them. There are those two definitely in a relationship that you could actually see. And sometimes, as much as, I mean, we are all flawed. So sometimes you'll notice that you'll have your own routine, and then when you get into a relationship, it's like you basically forget about that routine, and now you construct a new routine with your partner. And now what about the one that you used to have for yourself, by yourself, me, myself, and I? Gone, right? And 9 times out of 10, I feel that women do that a lot, right? When it's like women in a relationship, or whichever. Men probably also do it as much. Who knows? There's always one individual in the relationship, men, women, female, male, that will actually pretty much drop their whole routine and just go with the other. And it's
Mm.
like along the way,
You
later,
lose
later, later,
yourself.
time passed by, later, later. And they realize, like, wow, it's like not only I sacrificed, but then I let go of a lot of things that I used to do, me, myself, and I, to do with you. And how is that helping me or the relationship together? Because again, helping the relationship as far as a pair is very important, that you still hold on to your you, yourself, and I time for yourself, whatever routine that you used to have before you met the person. I think is very important, and it's part of that relationship where it helps you be better within that relationship. So, meaning that you have to have your own relationship with yourself, and then being able to have a relationship with that person also as well, where you both come together. So for me, it's very important in that aspect. And basically on what you talked about, some partners will want you to depend on them for every single thing. Well, that's not me, because that's true. In a case of that we break up, what about? So now I used to get up every morning and take my walk by myself. Now I can't do it because we not together. No, that's too much. That is too much that you rely on a person for. And again, it comes back to you, yourself, and I, and the love that you have for yourself. It's not going to hurt to have your own. I think it's good to create those spaces and moments for yourself, so that when it's time to go back, regroup with that person, you guys are good. I think it's suffocating when everything is together, 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 together. Wait, did you say together? Oh no, you said together. Did you mean together? Oh, it's suffocating. Hello, we need a break. I need to see my friends, right? Because I still have friends. And
And
sometimes some people, they get cut off from everybody, friends, family, everything. So, I mean, good luck
yeah.
to you, because that's not good. I mean, I don't think it is. I know.
No, and I think that's really important that you've mentioned that, and that alone time is really important. So please don't lose yourself trying to please this one person. Like, make them fit in your schedule. And that's why I always made it, I've always said it at the beginning. And this is why I said that early on. I never made myself readily available, because my life does suddenly stop because I gave you my phone number. And that's why, guys. So I know we gotta go back to the first couple of videos, and I know my my thought process or my ways of going into dating kind of felt like it was rules or steps or playing games. No, it was just more or less on, I have to make time. You have to feel like I'm making time to be with you. I'm not readily available. Like, I cannot give you full dating or relationship or marriage privileges when we're not even there yet. I don't even know, like, we haven't even had our one date. I will respond, but that's why I said you have to know that I have a life. Like, you didn't just appear and made everything better. Like, like they say, society makes you believe that. Like, you've met this person, it was love at first sight, and boom, everything. Like, no, like, I still work, I still go grocery shopping, I still do a lot of different things, which you still do too. And let's find a way to coordinate that together, and we could add to it. Like, I don't want a person to feel like I'm saving you or you're saving me. No. Like, a lot of times people get their egos in the way to be like, you like, not that you were nothing before you met me, but like, and sometimes it will look like that, especially during breakups, because when you give that person so much power over your life to feel like, I'm nothing without you. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I don't see my life without you. Like, yes, it will hurt. It will sting, but life do go on. I'll survive. Yeah, we'll be
I'll
okay.
survive.
Right? I will
Yeah.
survive. So,
Yes.
the last two, I think it's the last
No, the
one.
last
The
one.
last one.
Yeah.
And it's work-life balance, and it talks about household. And we kind of covered the work-life balance too, right? Because especially if you have a career, so if this is a person that's like needy, maybe you shouldn't be dating them, because if they want a lot of attention, maybe you focusing on your career right now may not be the best time for you to date this person, because they need that quality time. And if you're going to be working late and pursue your career, so you kind of have to find out what that person, again, 5 year goal, right? So Allure is saying, hey, I want to make partner in 5 years. And so that means they're going to be pulling a lot of late nights. And if you're like, I want to start a family, I want to go vacationing, that's not going to happen. So you have to kind of see where, if the person is at the peak of their career, at the peak of their business, where it's like, this needs to take all that time. So that means marriage life could look like you're having a lot of dinner by yourself. And no, I'm like, it's real, it's true. It's not saying that it has to be mandatory, but you may have to schedule that. You may have to, because the person's always working late. So if you're the kind of person that's like, hey, I've been hurt a lot before, and my self-esteem and my trust is kind of shattered, I'm gluing it piece by piece, I'm not pushing you, or I'm not putting you at the position of my ex or whatever, but it triggers me, then maybe you don't need to be with someone like that, because then you're going to be like, are you sure you're working late? Then you're going to start doubting yourself, and then you have time. So you have to find a person that could balance your flaws and to have that security. And a lot of times too, we don't look into that. And that's why I say you ask those tough questions early on before feelings get there, because you're going to be like, well, one, that's not what I signed up for. It's going to be like, well, I'm a lawyer, or I'm this position, of course I want to do this, or I'm a nurse and I want to be a go on for my master's and eventually go for become a doctor. I want to go to med school. Whatever the career path is, there's always reason to improve. There's always ways for people to grow more and go back to school or have a family, what that looks like. And if it helps you, it could help or hinder you. So it's something that you do have to look what that work-life balance looks like. Because if you're like, I want to have dinner with you every single night at 7, and dinner's on a table with wine, and the person's coming home, leaving the house 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and coming home at 7 and 8, then that doesn't make sense, because that work-life balance would mean that as a wife, so do you really want to have 3, 4 kids now? Because that means you're gonna have to get the kids ready for school, pick them up, and coming back, because the hours just doesn't match. And a lot of times people don't do that, because it's like, well, I feel like I'm a slave in my own marriage. I feel like, no, you knew that from get-go. You ignored it. So that's what you signed up for. A lot of times people then blame the partner of their career path, or saying, well, it's not always about the money. No, they told you that's where they want to go. So that's where the lack of support comes in, and the dishonesty, and like, just, you could avoid that by just ask those questions. Don't be afraid.
But like you said, not to cut you off, but when you brought up that point, and I think it's great, because if that partner is just as comfortable coming up and telling you exactly this is what they're looking for, that's their goal for the next 5 year, how is it that they were comfortable to just tell you right off the bat, this is what I want, and not negotiate with you, but yet you couldn't come up front and tell them what you need also, that you don't want to negotiate because it's for your
That's not
life.
what you want to hear, though, Sylvie. We spoke about that.
Yeah, but you see,
Relationship needs. We spoke about that. A lot of times when we ask those tough questions, sometimes we don't even have to ask those tough questions. It comes to us freely. You could be in a stroll, walking to the car from a date, and you see a kid. You could be at a restaurant on your first couple of dates, and you see a child crying with the parents, and that guy could easily say, "Oh, good thing we don't have to worry about that for the next 5, 10 years."
Right there, he
Jokingly,
tells you he's not
he
looking to have
already
no kids.
told you. But for you, you're thinking, he, oh, he want to have a kid with me. You're not thinking the time frame, or it's like, oh, wow, I don't have no these nieces or nephews, or I don't have any kids. Sometimes they will tell you right then and there, or even to their, not abusive, but like demanding ways, right? Like, so they're authoritative, where it's like, oh, if it was my child, you wouldn't be acting up like that at this restaurant. So it kind of gives you that, let's elaborate a little bit more. What you
Yeah, the clues
saying?
are there. The
The
clues are
clues
definitely
are there. So what do you mean by that, right? And the little, like, even if you start with like those compulsive behaviors, right? Where it's like, I called you 3 times, like, chill. I was sleeping. Like, are you that?
there.
Like, it gets you to figure out the controlling ways, or like, does the person to feel like they got me at a beck and call, and that aspect that kind of gives you that X, Y, and Z clues that you're looking for sure.
Okay,
But
well, I'm
mhm.
glad. I think we did so well, actually. We tackle
No.
all three topics. Oh my God, snap, snap, snap. We did so good. So go ahead, Fab, because I know you got a question coming on.
Yes. Right before we jump into our question of the day, babies, if you had to pick one of your favorite ones that touched you, from if you've been watching from the beginning, from all 10, let us know. I would really love to know what clicked on you. Because I know a lot of times, even for me, a lot of the things clicked. And like I just mentioned too, and Sylvie too, she mentioned certain things about introducing. I know one that clicked with you, Sylvie, was about letting your child meet the person early
Yeah,
on, not
yes.
waiting down. So things like that. So let me know what you're currently facing and what has touched you throughout this series. So going into our question of the day.
Fab, just
Um,
make sure you put Fab. Just make sure you put the email also on the screen so that
Yes.
our
Sorry, I
favies could
forgot
email
about
us.
that.
Yes, so that our favies could email us because very important so that you guys have access to us in every single way. Yes, email, subscribes, please, comment. We love all of those together. And soon enough, don't worry, we'll have a post office box where we want to receive
Yes.
all of the goodies. Telling you.
Yes, and we can have different ones too. So you can send us an email, and like Sylvie said, you'll be able to send us different packages. If you want us to do brand promotions, we're open to that as well.
Hello.
So our question of the day, for some reason, it's been circulating, and I kind of have idea what you're gonna say, but I just want to ask our babies as well to see. So here's the scenario, okay? So it's been going around social media for in the past 24, 48 hours.
Hmm.
So it says the person quoted, the person's name scratched off, so I can't really quote who wrote it, but nonetheless, it says, I used to be really good friends with a guy. And he broke off our friendship because his girlfriend hated that I would say love you when I hang up the phone. If you're that insecure that you don't want your partner being loved by their friends, you shouldn't be in a relationship. So, yeah.
Okay, this is the part where I'm going to say there are two parts, and I love the fact that my cousin introduced me to that. There's what I really want to say, and there's what I should say.
Mhm.
So what I should say is, um, There's nothing wrong. You have a friend that you're really close with. You guys are like this. You met before you met me. You've been tight ever since. If she or he, or they tell you, hey, I love you, I don't have a problem with that. I know them. They know us together. They know we are in a relationship. They know they should at least have boundaries because yes, that's your friend, that's your bestie, but there's always a boundaries, right? And we talked about that in previous episode, right? Because friendship also has boundaries. When you are friend bestie with your best friend, he, she, or they, and it's just so happened that now you're in a relationship with somebody else, as a friend you got to respect that too. There are limits, there are boundaries, right? The person you love them, they will give you that time. When it's our time, bestie, is our time. But I also have to make time for the other significant one, and then we could all come together and make time for each other. So that's what I should say. But what Sylvie really want to say is, no, why y'all gotta say I love you for? What, is that your friend? I'm not insecure. I'm just trying to figure out, is that the same person? Who are you talking to? Give me the phone. I sound so bad, but this
So no, no,
is
no, no.
bad.
Listen,
No,
I'm gonna turn
it's
on my light
bad.
for this, okay? Because
It's
you need to
bad
see
though,
me
fam.
clearly.
It's
I
bad.
turned on my light for this, okay? Because I need every lint of brightness that we need for this.
That's bad.
Listen,
That's bad though.
okay, I understand the whole idea of having female or male friendship. That's not the
Mhm.
issue that I'm having. If you that's secure about your friendship, sweetheart, you don't need to say love you every 5 seconds. Because first of all, you already know that the person loves you. Because if it's real, it's real. I mean, yes, I understand
Okay.
with your family, your cousins, your sisters, whatever, if you probably
That's different.
grew accustomed to saying it when you hang up the phone. I get that. Like, am I going to tell you never tell your daddy, your mama, your aunties, and cousins love you? No, I can't tell you that. But listen, he checked you because he know you. That's your friend. If he broke it off, he knew he respect his new girlfriend, and you have to respect that. So don't make it about me being insecure because this person cut you off. They know you're being petty because they know you longer than I do. And some girls, listen, let's be real.
Whoosh. Whoosh.
Some girls are super petty. They will let you know you are just a number in his life and they are going to be there forever and be. I never had to be or been through that. I'm grateful Andrew didn't have no girl besties, the whatever the case might be. No, you don't need no bestie. That should be me. Like, no. But nonetheless, though,
Hmm.
there are boundaries. Your true male and female friends will respect the fact that you are dating, you have somebody else,
Yes.
and that conversation's not going to happen. So when I read that, I'm like, girl, have several seats, okay? Sit the door. Because that don't even make sense at all of what you're saying. And you feel attacked or you probably like your best friend and you don't know how to get that to the next level because a lot of times a lot of friendships they don't want it to actually be a relationship because if it break up then that friendship is gone. Sometimes you rather value the friendship than go into a relationship to eventually ruin it or end in a bad note. Don't play with me. Find little kids, find your little aunties and cousins to play with. Don't come here with that. Anyway, so because it's our season finale, okay, I got two for you, Sylvie. I came ready
Ah,
for our last. We got two questions of the day. I came ready, Sylvie, because I don't know these people. I feel like this holiday this year, some delusional happening. So here's the other one. Get ready for this. You might even want to take a little sip of water or something, because this is a real person comment that I'm about to read for you. I'm not lying.
hit me.
Any
Go.
man that requests for a DNA test is, excuse me, my viewers, I will use the word a bastard. Period. Any man who does DNA tests on my children without my consent is also, quote, a bastard. Anything can happen that makes a woman pregnant for another man. Any child I give you is your child. F what DNA said. I'm not making this up. I wish I could make this up. I told you, we going out with a bang. We are going out with a bang because clearly
Um,
at
I,
some point, I was trying to see where she was going with that. As I was reading the first sentence, the second one,
mm,
I'm like, okay. I mean, I would get butt hurt if a person felt like, I have a child with you. Like, do you think I would be cheating on you that you have to go get a DNA test? I would feel kind of offended, but whatever. I ain't got nothing to hide. I'm like, maybe that's where she's going in there. But when she said anything can happen for a woman to get pregnant by another
yes,
man, I said, I, I
yes,
just I just threw everything, Sylvie. She was possibly going in the right mind, like I'm a virtuous woman. I do what I need. So why would you ever test my loyalty? Why would you think so? I mean, I thought this is where it was heading. And then she said, "Whatever I give you, okay.
you take.
If I say this your child, this your child. You gotta take care of this child."
Yeah, not about that. Yeah, she lost me right when she said that because if somebody, obviously, if the man is asking for a DNA test, I would be offended, yes, but it's all good. You don't have anything to hide, so why do you care? That's me. That's just me, right? You want a DNA? Go ahead. Because now I'm thinking on the perspective, and that's what, we talked a lot about, especially when we're talking about forgiveness, where you have the perpetrator and you have the victim. So now I'm turning the situation into, if I am a man, I want to know if really this child that you're presenting to me is my child, right? If I have any doubt, I don't see there is anything wrong with that, actually, right? Of course, I'm going to be offended. Of course, I'm going to be hurt. Those are feelings. Of course, if you were to come to me, but like, yo, babe, DNA. But if you tight in a relationship where you tight, that's not happening anyway in the first place. Because let me tell you, those men out there, they're not stupid. They know that 9 months. They know when they know when they do their thing and they drop you what they need to drop. They know when they drop it. I mean, I would hope to think that most of them, right? Intelligent mind,
And that's
you
the
know what
thing.
you're
I mean,
doing,
if
right?
you listen, if you're having a field day around, today is Brenda, tomorrow's Felicia, tomorrow's the next
That's
person,
different.
then that's different. But if you in
Yes,
a committed relationship, I feel it's a bit offensive, especially if that's the
exactly.
only person that you're with and you know that. I
Exactly.
think that's kind of offensive. But if you're not
Correct.
in a relationship, it was like a one night thing and it was random, you never heard from this person, and you might be like, who have you been with? And blah blah blah. I get that. But that just made me think, like, in one way, I'm like, Jesus, these girls out here, some of them are trifling. I'm like, listen, we need to like
Yeah, but
having
they
boys.
trifling. They're trifling, them girls, and them boys too are trifling. Both of them.
Yes, but also too, Sylvie, like a lot of guys with them having a good heart and raised well are trapped in kids that may not be theirs. And that I'm like, by reading that, it made me actually feel like, if I have
Yes.
a son or if my nieces, my nephews, I'm gonna make sure to be like, you always check, protect yourself. And that may make it seem like they're raised wrong or they're rude or whatever. But it's like when you hear things like that from a female perspective, you're like, come on. Like
But
you
not
don't
even
just
that. Not to cut you off, but not even that. Sometimes there's baby swap in the hospital. So you would want to know that you're bringing home the baby that is yours, that you give birth to also
Mhm,
as well. There's that instance.
mhm.
So I
And
don't
I
have a
think that's
problem.
why now, actually, a lot of the times, well, at least now in Canada, when you give birth, I know for Amaya, even as back as 3 years ago, right when you give birth, they do almost everything in the room. So they
Good.
don't take the babies out anymore. So they do like skin to skin, and after that, they come and change and do the first bath, everything there in the room. And unless it's for testing, they don't go with the baby or anything like that. So I think
Good.
that's really good. And actually, my sister mentioned that because my nephew's about to be 7 now, Naeem, and they did that back then in Miami or in Florida with her. So it's good
Good.
that this change is happening because sometimes you don't even get to see your child and it's taken away from you and you don't know. So it's nice that by the time the baby's born, they bring the tags, everything right then and there. Not to say things, but did you watch? Is it the Carlina White story or like? Have you ever seen that on
I
Lifetime
I think I've heard of the
with
story.
Kiki Palmer?
I think she was taken.
Yes,
Okay, I think I've
Kiki
heard. Yeah.
Palmer. She actually was one of the she was the one,
The
the
actress?
bestie. Yeah. It's really good from Lifetime. I think it's called the Carlina White Story or something like
I
that.
love Kiki
I may
Palmer.
be saying the name wrong, but something along that line, you will get to see it. And it's the ending is like, bruh, like how do you feel? Are you happy? Are you sad? Well, how are you supposed to feel, you know?
Okay.
So yeah, but
I
those
think
were
I've
the
heard.
two question of the days that I had for you. And I said when I was blown away. And I let us know, guys. I really, really babies,
I
I
see.
really want to read the comments. Let us know for both situations, how would you handle it and how would you deal with it? Because I really want to know.
What
But
you should
oh, go
say
ahead.
and what you want to say, really. That's one thing I know we taught you really well. What I should say and what I
Mhm.
really want to say.
Exactly. So it's
That's
time to end our episode, but this is not goodbye. It's see you later because we will be taking couple of weeks hiatus from the Let's Talk series as we prep for a new series for you within the new year. Um, so
yep.
let us know. But we're gonna take a hiatus from the Let's Talk series, but we'll have something else on the go for you guys. So we'll let you go. Make sure you subscribe and turn your notification bell on because every time we go live, you'll get reminded that we are live. You can follow us on Facebook. We do have a Facebook page, Fabi and Sylvie TV, where you can watch all our past episodes, or you can follow us on YouTube, send us an email, whatever you want to keep in contact with us. If you have a situation that you would like us to say on our question of the day. Like all these things are real life stories. Like it's not even scenarios, and this is why it makes me kind of shocked that it wasn't just a scenario. Usually when I find them. So if there's something that's happening to your friends, family, whatever you would like to share anonymously, let us know. We'll ask and get our different reaction and perspective on them.
Yep. This is the last episode of this season. But we coming back with a bang, 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 bang. We got
Yes.
so much more in store for you guys, so we can't wait to hear from you. I want to make sure that you take this time to go all the way back, back, right? Watch episode 1 all the way to 10. Like Fab said, this season has been great. I'm grateful for what we constructed together, for you guys, our favies, right? For my cousin, things that I've learned from this, because it wasn't just talk, 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 and no residual message or nothing that we learned from this. This was great as far as I'm concerned, Fab. Thank you so much because you helped me see things differently, give me different perspective on things, and I take that to heart.
You're very welcome, and I hope that we can continue to build and grow together. And we're learning from each other, and this is very therapeutic to say the least. Because I always look forward to our um, live sessions, right? So it makes it worth it, and I think our favies appreciate it too because they
Yeah.
always come back for the support, and we love that. So we'll always remember where we came from.
Oh, it touched my heart. So,
So,
with that said,
hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your December. Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2021.
and be safe out there.
Yes.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Mwah.